Greetings, everybody. It is GleeCon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft coming at you. We left off with the just kind of settlement of what Oshugun was. Oshugun is confirmed. It is the remnants of the Genadar, the Eridar crashed ship. It does have a dead/dying Naru inside it. When they die, they start to become like Dark Naru, emanating void energy, and it turns out there was a clan of orcs outcasts underneath Nagrand who were outcasts because they liked the void energy, so that was just enticing for them. They started tapping even more into it, communicating with void lords, and became like withered underground albino orcs called the Pale. Just like these Naru also created like the ability of the dead to be able to talk to the living with the Draenei. This is now happening with the orcs, who their people are going to Oshugun. So we just kind of established all of that, and the Draenei are just sort of watching because they don't know if it would be worse to help or not. All right, so stay a while and listen to this one. It's called The Reclamation of Goria. We're now down to just 100 years before the Dark Portal. We left off with 45 years before the Dark Portal in our other book. So we're getting close to the timelines meshing up. The Reclamation of Goria, and remember, Shattrath city is founded on the ruins of Goria, and that probably made the ogres a little annoyed. And we hinted in the last episode that the ogres were going to try to fight the Draenei. The ogres had been aware of the Draenei since the first day they arrived. The blazing ball of fire slamming into the ground had attracted considerable interest, and scouts from Highmall had kept a close watch on the Draenei's expansion across Terakar Forest. When Shattrath was first built, there was an explosion of anger within Highmall. The Draenei were newcomers, smaller and weaker than ogres, and yet they were bold enough to build the city on the bones of the Gorian Empire's great capital. It was seen as an unforgivable insult. And yet Shattrath's sleek construction and otherworldly defenses gave the ogres pause. Nothing like the Draenei's technology had ever been seen on this world. Their weakest apprentices had more refined and effective magical techniques than even the most advanced ogre sorcerers. When a new leader seized control of Highmall, he declared that he would conquer Shattrath. Emperor Hoklon, a gifted arcanist himself, believed that the Draenei had stolen their power. Perhaps they had some skill before, but they had built their city atop Goria. Who knew how much hidden knowledge was left beneath the old capital? It had been the greatest center of Gorian power, the place where all apprentice sorcerers had trained. Hoklon incited his people to wage war by publicly sneering at the Draenei, calling them usurpers. He promised that Highmall would become the center of a new, enlightened Gorian empire once the Draenei were slaughtered. The ogres would not even need to rebuild their city. The Draenei had already taken care of that. Highmall's aristocracy threw their support behind Hoklon, eager to claim the extraordinary new city for themselves. So they even have an aristocracy. This sounds more like the ogres you see up in Ogre Law. Though the ogre army that marched on Shattrath vastly outnumbered the Draenei, it did not matter. The city's defenses easily repelled Highmall's first attack. There was never an opportunity for a second. I wonder what the defenses are. I know that they've got their sort of arcane robots, and maybe there's some shielding or lasers or something. I don't know. As the ogres regrouped, Rangari and Vindicators launched surprise attacks from multiple directions, stabbing deep into the ogres' ranks. Akama led an elite force of holy warriors that included two of his greatest followers, Murad and Nobundo. I feel like those sound familiar, like maybe we do some quests with them or about them. They found and killed Hoklon and his generals, leaving Highmall's forces in disarray. Rather than slaughter the rest of the ogres, the Draenei immediately called off their attack and returned to Shattrath. Velen then appeared on Shattrath's ramparts, wreathed in a scintillating light. He issued a single statement, his voice rumbling through the heavens. "Go home, and you will not be harmed." Yeah, they're a different kind of people than we've encountered thus far. The ogres needed little encouragement. They fled. The grandiose war that was meant to revive the Gorian Empire had fallen after one attack, with an unexpectedly small death toll. The Highmall ogres never tried to frontal assault on the Draenei again. Okay, so they were just like, nah, never mind, you guys can keep it. But really, if you think about it, not a lot happens here. Like what? We cycle through another ogre leader. The only thing that's really, as far as lore, that's established is that the ogres realize that we should not mess with the Draenei. They've already been kind of beaten by the orcs, so the ogres are just tumbling down the pecking order. And that's about it. All right, another episode in the pipe. It's 5x5. I will catch you all on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thanks.